So this is our site for the next installation. It's quite basic, simple. We are using hybrid inverter. So if you follow our channel, almost I think 70% video are made in Malay language. But I think when we started the channel, we started with English. But then now, because this installation is quite similar with other installations, that's why we make this video in English so that it can cover more audience lah. Alright, so the installation for this system is using hybrid inverter. We are using 3 kilowatt low frequency hybrid inverter. Okay, let me give you a brief setup of this place lah. It's a small farm. The electricity will be used for basic lighting, fans, charging gadgets, and the owner wants to use water pump. Okay, due to the water pump requirement, we must use low frequency inverter because to sustain the surge from the AC pump, and the owner wants to use AC pump. So typically, let's say if it's a 1 horsepower pump, 745 watt, 750 watt, the surge will be 3 times. And also the high frequency is not suitable for that kind of application. That's why we need low frequency. The difference between low frequency and high frequency, you can check up on the technicality, but let me give you on the practicality. If you have something with induction motor, you must use low frequency because of the surge, and also it can absorb lah. I mean, it can sustain, it can cope with the surge from that induction motor like water pump. But if you're using just for basic lighting, fans, for home appliances without no motor, you can use like heating appliances for electric kettle, rice cooker and whatnot. You can use high frequency. But typically for anything with induction motor like water pump, you must use low frequency because low frequency has toroidal transformer inside. That's why it's very big, bulky and heavy. And the setbacks of using low frequency, actually the standby power is more than high frequency. Okay, so the disadvantages is high standby power consumption, but the advantage, you can use motorized equipment lah, water pump and whatnot. High frequency in other perspective is smaller, lighter, less standby power consumption, but you cannot use for anything with motor because high frequency is quite how do I put it, quite sensitive. We have tried before this high frequency, but it cannot sustain because especially when the pump is automatic, it's keep switch on, switch off, switch on, switch off, and then it cannot sustain the surge. Alright, so when you use hybrid inverter, most important thing is you must focus on the specification. So you can see 3 kilowatt peak power, 9 kilowatt 3 times. DC input is 24 volt battery. Alright, sorry because the person is holding the camera, cannot last that long. So the AC output is 240 volt AC. This is for Malaysian, by the way. Inverter mode also 240. Sorry, the AC input, it can be grid or it can be generator. The output will be 240 volt. And quite important, that's why is the solar input. You must see here, 150 volt. It means that the MPPT range from 30 to 150. Our panel is around 49.4 volt. So we can use up to 3 panels, but for this installation, we only use only 2, and the max current is 50 amp. So 50 amp, if you times 24 volt, you can get around 1,200 watts attached to this inverter. Okay. The other thing that I need to explain, you can see this little modification that we made. This is the exhaust fan. We put the net and then we glue it just to prevent insects and lizard. This is very typical based on our experience. many of the inverter do not sustain that long because of the lizard and also insects. Because this inverter, when it's functioning, it will produce heat. Especially in places like this, the temperature at night is quite low, you know, because of the environment and what do you call it, guttation. You know, the humidity is very high. So the lizards and insects are attracted to the heat source. They will go inside the thing and then short circuit the board. So this is very important. It's a little modification, ugly but very critical. Okay, so later we'll continue with the installation. Then we see how to connect with the battery output and also AC input in case they have generator. Right, now we are connecting the. We have already mounted the inverter. We are connecting the cable, battery cable, AC output, AC input, and also solar panel charging. Basically, the connection is very typical lah, and you need to connect it rightly. But when it comes to site implementation, site installation, you must adapt and adjust to the site lah. Like here, the wall is made of metal deck. There's no proper wall, even not wood wall. And then the temperature here is quite high, humidity very high. When you sit here for a long time, then sometimes it can be difficult. So after the inverter, you need all sorts of breaker. DC breaker for battery, solar, AC breaker for AC input and AC output. You might put SPD as well, surge protection device, for AC side and also for DC side, especially for the solar panel. That will be it lah. So right now we have difficulties in connecting the wire due to the space given and also due to the wall condition. So we need to adapt and improvise. Okay.
Dah, okay. Okay, we have done installation the solar panel, 420 watt and 49 voltan.
Coba. Sampai nyampur tolak wayar di atas.
Right. Saya rasa tak secure ni.
Okay, so Alhamdulillah, we have finished our installation for today. As you can see, it's quite basic. Hybrid inverter, 3 kW, low frequency. We have 2 units, 150 Ah batteries in series for 24 volt. Up on the roof, we have 420 watt panel from Q cells. We connected in series because this inverter can receive 150 volt. So right now we have incoming of 100 volt. So if the owner want to add another one panel, also is possible, because we have, you know, we can just series the solar panel to 3 solar panel and then we can connect it. Okay. 3 kilowatt low frequency. Okay. Right. So yang ni basic dia, yang untuk control bahagian solar dengan charging semua dekat sini. Okay. Yang ni breaker untuk bateri. Ini breaker untuk solar, nanti saya tampal. Breaker untuk solar. Yang ni breaker untuk AC output yang akan pergi ke DB tu. Tu DB macam DB rumah lah. Yang ni input. Input dia sambung kat sini.
Ini yang masuk ni
generator. So ni kena sambung dengan wire lah. Sambung dengan wire atau 3-pin plug. dia punya boleh indikator dia boleh tengok kat sini. So sekarang ada gambar bateri tak penuh sangat. Ada 3 bar ni, dia ada 4 ke 5. Daripada sini keluar ke sini jadi AC lah. Maknanya ni tengah guna dan boleh digunakan lah. Alright. So kalau pagi nanti kita akan tengok solar ni dia akan ada line kat sini pula.
Ada banyak ni.
Ni gambar solar ni. Maknanya solar charging lah. Kalau tengah hari, tengah siang, matahari ada tapi tak ada line bersambung, something wrong lah. Sama ada tertutup solar kat sini, wire panel tercabut ke, panel hilang ke. Kita tengok kat sini. Bila sambung dekat genset pula, dia akan ada kat sini.
Kalau sambung genset dia terus gitu je. Tak ada masalah.
Okay, bila nak pakai genset, on dulu genset, bagi genset stabil. Lepas tu cucuk sini, lepas tu baru on. Jangan dah on sini sambil start tu dah bersambung, tak boleh. Sebab genset dia mula dia spark. Okay. Bila masuk genset, dia akan jadi ni tau, AC input priority. Genset akan bypass dan juga akan charge bateri. So kalau genset kecil 1 kW, jangan pakai barang besar-besar lah. Kalau genset besar 5 kW boleh lah. Sama je lah barang yang macam 3 kW ni kan. Lepas tu ni kalau nak tutup inverter, tekan lama-lama. Kalau tinggal biar je. Lepas tu kat tepi ni kipas dia tau. So kita orang dah pasang dengan jaring dengan ni. Sebab cicak dia selalu masuk. Dekat bawah ni pun kita orang ada pasang jaring. Yang ni saya rasa okey kot, yang sebelah sini. Yang sebelah sini. Ni tak besar. Cuma rajin bersihkan lah. Habis bulu ayam ke, vacuum ke, bersihkan. Katalah yang plug ni tak boleh pakai ataupun nak tutup. Sini dah tutup kan. Tutup yang AC output. Boleh pakai plug kat sini. Ada 3 pin plug sini.
Ada.
Kalau nak cepat ke apa kan. Katalah tengah modified wiring ke apa, sambil-sambil tu nak pakai mesin drill ke apa, boleh pakai sini. So bateri dia 150 Ah 2 biji. Bateri ni tak fully charge lagi sebab kita pun pasang dah malam. So besok satu hari insyaAllah satu round tu okey balik lah. Dan inverter ni memang berat sikit lah. Sebab dia low frequency, bermaksud dalam dia ada transformer. Dia untuk sesuai untuk pump. Pump tu nanti keran dah tarik ni pergi ke plug yang situ. Situ yang heavy, yang sini tak heavy. So kalau nak heavy semua kat sana lah.
So pump tu 2
horsepower dia boleh pergi. 2 horsepower dia pergi.
Dia boleh ingat.
So ni kipas punya tu. Ni kipas, ni lampu. Ini SPD. Sorry ni kita orang pasang terbalik sebab dia punya clip dia pun terbalik. Ni kalau hijau maksudnya boleh pakai lagi. Kalau merah dia pakai buang. Kena tukar baru je. Maknanya ni dia dah kena kilat lah. Ni standard lah. Ini RCCB, ni MCB. So yang ni pun ada tau. Ni solar punya SPD. Warna hijau nampak ni? Kalau dah merah kena tukar. Maknanya dia dah kena kilat.
Maksudnya kena kilat tu dia tak fungsi tu
dia kena kilat, dia dah korbankan diri dia. So kena tukar baru.
Kalau tukar baru tu macam mana?
Bagi tahu saya nanti saya
beritahu je.
Selalunya saya tak pernah tengok lagi lah yang pernah tukar merah, tapi
manalah tahunya.
bila ada benda tu rasa hati sedap sikit lah. Ni
Kalau ada tak faham tak salah
boleh
kita
call
tanya
dia.
je.
Video call je.
Tak, sebab sekarang ni banyak sangat input kan.
Banyak je. Dia bila dah pakai
dah berapa jam?
Dia bila pakai nanti barulah baru
Kan dah lama-lama dia baru faham.
dia baru faham.
Generator saya tak pakai.
Tak pakai
InsyaAllah
dia
tak lah. InsyaAllah
nak
tak.
beli lagi generator
Beli
tu.
lagi. Tak ada kerja lah.
Generator tu kong-kong 2000 watt 3 watt 2000 juga.
Mana nak tahu?
saya dah letak sini, nanti boleh letak balik kayu tu lah. So yang ruang ni boleh pakai balik lah. Ni pun saya dah tutup cover ni. Cuma kalau lah tip ni lama-lama dia dah tercabut, nanti tuan balik-balik lah. Sebab saya takut orang tak perasan contoh dia ambil besi ni, jadi kita letak pula atau letak kat situ. Dia menghubungkan
Bahaya.
terminal sebab tu saya tutup ni.
So nanti kalau ada kata kalau kita orang nak tambah solar, bateri sama juga ke?
Bateri kalau nak tambah dia kena gandakan dua. Dua. Macam yang kat Lompang tu lah, dia tambah sini, dia tambah lagi dua jadi 4. Saya rasa okey kot. Macam mana cakap. Besok dia charge penuh. Besok tuan lenjan lah, pakai lah barang apa semua.
Try dah kan?
Periuk nasi ke whatever lah. Masak air ke apa. Lepas tu
Nak tengok dia berfungsi
nak
baik
tengok.
ke tak?
bagi drain dia betul-betul. Betul tengok lah cukup ke tak cukup. Jangan cakap siap solar ni dia gaya hidup. Cara hidup. So lain orang saya cakap banyak pun bukan saya yang duduk sini. So kena tengok. Macam biasa lah. Pakai banyak masak air, masak nasi sekali petang je. Dah tinggal maghrib je dah tinggal 2 bar. Ini kena saving lah. Macam malam ni untuk janji lepas lampu dengan janganlah masak air malam pula lagi dia tarik. So tu semua kena adjust sendiri.
Kita dengan tu.
Right, okay, dah. Apa-apa tu call.
Okay.